Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another edition of Flashpoint, a television program of issues and ideas. Flashpoint is brought to you by the Lawrence Debate Union, which is an endowed co-curricular activity at the University of Vermont that trains UVM students in the arts and skills of debating and then has them debate competitively, educationally, and hopefully sensically against other beings from around the world, around America, and soon around the universe. My name is Alfred C. Snyder. I'm the Edmund W. Lawrence Professor of Forensics at the University of Vermont, and I'll be your facilitator for this week's humongous program. Let's meet our panelists for this week's program. On my far left, I have the person who may be the dean of the panel, Joseph Torta. Hello, Joe.
Hi.
And you were saying this is how many shows for you now?
I believe this is my 7th show.
Excellent. Excellent. Are you getting better or worse?
We'll find out, won't we?
We'll find out. And most exciting thing you did this summer?
I traveled through Israel.
Excellent. Excellent. On my immediate left, I have Sam Natali, who's a first-year student from Florida.
Yes.
And he comes to us with some notoriety because I met you in New York City last spring judging a debate contest. And you've just been here a week, and
I'm getting used to the freezing weather that you call summer.
yeah, just wait. Okay, very good. And you've already joined the debate team, so that made sense. All right, on my far right, on the far right, imagine that, close behind Joseph, we have Sam Ricker. How many shows do you think you've been on now?
This is 7 for me as well.
Oh, so you guys are in a tie for this.
But I have the advantage of youth, and I'll be around a lot longer.
Oh, so. I see. And are you getting better as time goes on, or?
Probably overconfident, I'd say.
Uh-huh. Well, I think you started pretty bad, so there was lots of room for improvement. And so now you're fabulous, so that's remarkable. And on my immediate right, we have Karina Berg. Hi.
Hi.
And you wore blue just so that so the color separation overlay could look exciting on you.
No, I just thought I'd switch it up a little bit.
And how's your year starting out?
It's pretty good. Busy. Lots of work, lots of school.
Most amazing thing you did last summer?
This summer?
Yeah.
No, I worked a
You
lot.
worked.
I went to Maine. That was good.
Did you work in Maine?
No.
No,
I lay on the
that's
beach
good.
for 5 days.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm sure that all prepares us for to this week's program. We are beginning the school year, and the school year is a little different this year. And we're here for program number 349. We're persistent, if nothing else. Supersize UVM. Yes, that's right. The vision that President Fogel promoted a couple of years ago is starting to sink its tentacles into the Burlington campus and starting to transform things, whether it's through a huge network of construction projects, a changing and more business-like climate in the administrative running of the university, to the increasing size and many other things. All of a sudden, the University of Vermont is a different place to go to school, certainly than it was 5 years ago, and in some ways, even different than it was 1 year ago. These are some of the things that we're going to talk about on this week's edition of Flashpoint. Now, we thought we'd start out by talking about how things are different. And one difference is it's bigger.
Absolutely. Enrollment is up every year. They set new records. Now it says that the current enrollment is nearly 12,300 students, and that includes both the undergraduate program and also the graduate program. So the undergraduate students, it says approximately 9,450 undergraduates.
And is there some pace we're going to keep growing, or?
You know, I'm unsure, but I believe that the expansion is going to continue to occur.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know indefinitely, but I would imagine that probably within the next 5 years, there will continue to be a steady increase.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can you tell that on campus?
Absolutely.
What can you tell?
Since my freshman year, my class size has increased. Even in the upper level classes, I find that there are just larger numbers of students in every single one of my classes, which is, it's at times frustrating because it makes it more difficult for me to foster a positive relationship on a personal level with my with the academic staff, with my professors, with my, anybody who's helping me in any administrative office. I have a lot of trouble connecting on a personal level.
Well, there could be a variety of reasons for that. I just noticed it walking to class.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's also because the traffic is tightly compressed by the construction. Everybody's walking on the same 2 or 3. But what are some other ways in which UVM's different?
Well, clearly there's also the construction of the Davis Center, a project that's been in progress for almost a decade and has cost $61 million. It just had its grand opening, I believe, last week, and it also signals a change in terms of the scale of projects that the university is attempting, as well as the renewed emphasis on green technologies that went into building the Davis Center.
Yeah, there's lots of construction everywhere. What else? I heard food was different.
It is. Now there are very few options that aren't all you can eat. You pay with blocks, so you pay $8 to walk in a dining hall, and you can fill up your plate as much as you want, granted, but the food is of mediocre quality and of questionable nutritional value. I mean...
Also, some things haven't changed?
No.
Yeah.
They emphasize, organic food, but that's all a bunch of BS because I can't find anything there that would grow around here. It's all Sodexo.
And but I heard there's new food in the Davis Center, and a faculty member I know and trust told me it was good. Is that true?
Yeah, there's it's actually the positive of the Davis Center is they brought a lot of local companies and local restaurants in, like New World Tortillas in there. There's like Indian food now, which didn't used to be able. So there's food that you can't really get anywhere else on campus, but at the same time, what price?
And also these the facilities in the Davis Center, as far as dining goes, are distinguished because they are staffed by actual professionally trained chefs who work at a higher salary, in fact, than those at the other dining halls.
Which wouldn't be hard. I mean, my understanding is that the Sodexo dining hall is not much above minimum wage. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, and so food's different. But can you get food at the Davis Center with your meal plan?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it works off of points, including Ben and Jerry's, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always a nutritional
Yeah.
addition.
All right. What else is different? There's some new dormitories, right?
Yeah.
So the housing problem has been solved?
Not
No.
quite. Some of them that have been recently redone, including Wing Davis Wilkes, which is where I'm living, have been redone, but have also been used to house people living in triples, such as myself. And this is also just a part of them incorporating more students each year, but without having the housing necessarily to keep up. So it's a cramped lifestyle.
Now, were you hoping to be in a double and then you ended up in a triple, or?
Yeah, actually, and they say that one of us will be able to leave when room opens up prospectively in October, though it could be November or December.
Oh, okay. So it's not a whole term. Are you paying less?
No.
Okay. All right. Never mind how you feel about that.
I understand that. I mean, it's I guess probably in the contract somewhere.
Yeah.
So I have no actual recourse, I suppose. But it is something that that I think could be a little bit unfair, but that I'm not willing to go through the energy to contest.
Granted, I will say it's probably because you're a freshman. I didn't like my living situation at all last year. I hated it, and now I have a single in Wilkes, so I don't know what you're complaining about.
But don't you pay more for the single? See,
It's-
he doesn't have
it's
to
so
pay
worth
less
it.
for the triple.
Yeah.
But like a double, you pay less than a single, but he's still paying for a double and not getting it. And I think that's a little bit crap.
And it's still rough with, off-campus housing too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The housing crunch on campus is forcing more students to move off campus, which is in turn raising the price of off-campus housing. And because it's more competitive, you need to find a spot that's close to campus that also has space for yourself and all of the, the living, anything to fulfill your living needs. You need heat, you need electricity, you need plumbing. All of these things cost money, and they're money that you're going to have to be paying independent of the money that you pay to the university. I myself, my sophomore year, I went abroad first semester, and when I returned, they didn't have housing for me, and so I was forced to move off campus. And I mean, luckily I found a place to live, but the university they did not take responsibility for my housing. They told me that although I had put in a housing application, they were unprepared to house me, and I had, about a week or two at the end of that winter break where I was afraid that I might not be able to come back because I didn't have a place to live.
Which puts landlords in a great position.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
They have to take.
you're desperate. You're desperate. You'll pay whatever they ask. And I mean, I've seen some of my friends' apartments. Some of my previous apartments have been, absolutely atrocious. They have not been maintained. They've had mold within the house. Some of the conditions have actually been fairly dangerous. Not improper ventilation, improper fire safety, certain things like this, and really you have no choice.
Yeah.
And no real legal recourse either, because you sign this housing contract, you say, I'm going to live in this, and I understand what that means, and you really can't do anything about it.
My apartment used to be an attic, and I had to pay like $1,000 a month for it, and you could fit it like inside someone else's living room. It's a 2-bedroom too, and we have to have 3 people because the rent's so expensive.
And you have to lean over all the time.
It's,
you're
the
so close to the
ceilings are
ceiling.
6'3", maybe, like the entire height. Like, it's
How about the social climate on campus? Has that changed at all, or is it the same, or what's different?
Well, it's the biggest change is making making UVM a dry campus. But in President Fogel's vision of the university, I think there's an emphasis on trying to make this like a public Ivy school, which of course means cracking down on drinking in dorms, cracking down on drug possession, and things like that I hate to say it are kind of quintessential to UVM. I won't call UVM a party school, but there's a fair amount of it, and I definitely feel that the atmosphere is more hostile, and there's definitely a bigger chance of getting caught.
Well, I think that that's absurd to say that, there's drug use is synonymous with the university, and I think that this crackdown it's welcome. I mean, by myself, I would like to see UVM shake the reputation of being a party school or like a school that's associated with drug usage. I'd like to see it become the public Ivy that you spoke about, and I mean, if that means not letting underage kids drink alcohol on campus and not letting people use marijuana or other drugs on campus, then that's fine with me.
Well, I think even the larger question, regardless of what we think of the vision, is the efficacy of the steps taken to enact it. Though UVM is a dry campus, it must be mentioned that with the opening of the Davis Center came a bar within the Davis Center itself.
They don't have a liquor license yet.
yeah, and they're only serving beer and wine, and you have a 3-drink minimum.
Yeah.
Three-drink minimum?
Maximum. So it's a cap.
So it's like play school bar, right?
Yeah, it's like we're gonna pretend to be a pub, but really we just.
Baby's first bar.
All right, your point?
Oh, and the other thing is that despite the steps that UVM has taken on this year's High Times list of the top 10 schools for pot, UVM was still at number 3. So even if you crack down more, even if you make sort of changes, maybe it is too much a part of the university to be changed from the administration down. Maybe that change may come from students like you who say, no, I don't. I would prefer to go to a university that's known for something else.
Well, and I think that reputation.
And pay for a university that. I mean, you certainly pay a lot for it. You might as well get a good reputation.
Absolutely. And I mean, with that, I think that good reputation, it comes from the administration. It comes from the way that the school is marketed and the students that they choose to accept. Like if you're accepting the more socially responsible student.
Well, I mean, they don't have something on the application, do you smoke pot?
I suppose not. No.
So, you know.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, so we've described in a variety of ways why we have a bigger, more supersized university. And, you know, the university did buy the Trinity College campus.
Yeah.
And they have torn down some stuff and built some other stuff. And so, but what do you think are some good things? I mean, Fogel's vision is in full swing. What are some good things that you can think of? And I guess Joseph just already talked about one of the things that he liked that particular initiative. What else?
I'd like to say that I think that because of the increased competition in all college campuses, but specifically UVM, for the students that they admit has led to a more qualified student body than necessarily we've seen previous years. I mean, obviously I can't speak because I've only been here for
Okay, let me
a
just
week.
interrupt you and say that students at UVM now and students at UVM 10 years ago, now they are more focused, have higher test scores, have better writing skills, are more likely to have done their reading coming to class. So, yeah, that has changed. From my perspective as an old man. Now continue.
And so I think certainly that's a positive change for me because I do want to be in a more competitive, more competent environment.
And I like having a debate team on a campus where the students are smarter and more expressive than ever, which is why I'm so happy to have you here on the debate team. What else is good?
I like all of the green development. I think that that's fascinating. The Davis Center is really cutting edge technology when it comes to environmentally sound architecture and development. There's some of the examples were it was like a green air conditioning system that runs off of it's circulated water that's cooled as opposed to a freon or a chemical coolant. Some of the other, I don't have the paper in front of me, but
There it is.
well, thank you. So some of the other technology that's being put into practice in the new Davis Center, I've seen also waterless urinals and other ways to minimize the waste that's produced by the influx of new students, and the returning of other students, just the normal trash that would and waste that would come from a university.
Yeah, I have to go back to, we had one of our debaters, David Grover, was incredibly active of student and was very involved in the committee that put together the vision for the new Davis Center with the idea that it would be the greenest university building ever produced. And it seems like they've done an okay job of getting there.
According to this, yes, it's the first university center to receive a silver certification from the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, a group that rates these kind of things. And not only is it a socially conscious move, but I think it's an economically smart move in the long term as well.
Yep, because they'll save money as time goes on. Have they hired more professors? And if so, is that a good thing?
No, they're not. In this case, they are hiring professors and they're not offering them tenure, and that's not particularly attractive to a new teacher looking to go to
they want
university.
tenure.
Yeah, I mean, anthropology department alone, there's the explosion of majors that come out of this new, larger student body is insane. And the anthropology professors are so overwhelmed they can't process all of the students that are going through the program at the moment. I'm an anthropology major, so that's why I know. And the professors have way too many advisees. They haven't even met them all. They have no idea who these people are, and it's really hard to develop a personal relationship, like you were saying earlier with.
Yeah, and then that's going to happen because you can predict how many students are coming in, but what they're going to major in.
Right.
Yeah.
And so some departments, I don't know, classics is feeling the boom the same as anthropology is, or other things.
Well,
And class size is a little bigger.
that is true. I mean, I know and again, this could just be because I'm taking freshman courses, but half of my courses here are courses that have roughly 180 students. But another good aspect of the larger size is that it allows more specialization of majors. For instance, I'm an Asian studies major, but certain professors have been talking about since there are enough students now to form it, creating a specifically Chinese major, which would allow greater specificity in the education of students who are interested in that.
And do you plan to study Asian languages?
Well, if it was offered, I would certainly consider being a Chinese major.
Okay, good, because I need someone to debate in Chinese in the future, so that sounds really good. Anything else good about it? All right, what's bad about it?
Everything.
Okay, let it rip.
Okay, the Davis Center looks like a shopping mall. I'm sorry. I think that it was a huge waste of money that could be better allocated for reducing students' tuition. I mean, this university has quite a respectable endowment, yet I pay far too much to go here as an in-state resident. And so far, I don't think my money's worth includes, this brand new student center. That does me no good.
Okay, now we did have the Billings Student Center was an old library that had been redone. It was totally inadequate as a student center. And what I heard is a lot of students were coming to visit campus and going, "That's your student center? Ha ha ho ho. I'm going somewhere else." Do you think it could have been done for less money in a better way?
Well,
or?
I'm not opposed to the new environmental construction methods. I think that's fine. Obviously that's where some of the money went, but I say to myself, what would I rather see first, the Davis Center or Harris Millis renovated? It was new in the 70s, and it's pretty abysmal. So.
But didn't the funding from the Davis Center it wasn't like, it's not from our tuition, it came from an outside party?
Well, that's the thing about money. It's completely fungible and you can move it around. My understanding was that a lot of money was contributed, a lot of money was borrowed, and of course the borrowed money has to be paid back. But part of the contributed money was also used to boost the endowment so that the income from the endowment can help pay back the loans. So it's kind of a complex, but there's no question that there's a lot of money at work here, and no question that high-priced tuition in the future for even more students is part of the plan for paying for it. And I think it's interesting, Sam, that you would say, well, you should bring down tuition instead. But apparently studies show that families are more than willing to pay these high tuition costs for their students to get what they think are top tier education. So it's kind of a market thing, like people will pay. So otherwise, with high tuition, they wouldn't be able to increase enrollment and standards at the same time.
And I mean, you also have to see, the Davis Center as not the only thing they're spending money on, but perhaps as a first step. But I would say that the amount of money that they did have to take out in the form of loans, though I know a lot of it came out of donations, especially with kind of the unsteady conditions of the world economy right now, that taking out that much money could be prospectively dangerous.
If the economy nosedive tomorrow and UVM owes $350 million to people, that could be a problem, because then people won't be willing to pay the kind of tuition, etc. Okay? What else is bad?
Well, I think it's more a personal choice. I know Joe is opposed to the image of UVM as a party school, but I am quite in favor of it. I think if it doesn't cause any destructive harm, there's nothing wrong with it. And this atmosphere that's created here, I feel, isn't exactly very friendly, to be quite honest.
But you have to think about your future. I mean, if you come from a party school and you graduate and you get a degree there, it means nothing in the real, in the world of business. If you're trying to get a job and oh, you went to UVM, oh, it's a party school. I mean, what kind of education could you possibly get there? It's going to be negatively affecting you in the future.
I came here to learn both in and out of the classroom, and I intend to do that. So.
I think that yes, it does have some effect, but I think other things on your resume and your qualifications are probably more important. If you were on the debate team, if you did 22 television programs, if you had an article published in an undergraduate journal, if you had a chance to study abroad and do some real substantive work there, I think that will help. So the only thing on your resume is not that you are a party school, but it probably doesn't help.
No, and I'd like to say that I personally would like to see the the image of UVM change from a party school to a more respected institution. But my big problem is with the way that the administration has chosen to go about enacting these changes. As an incoming freshman, we were shown multiple presentations that basically tried to scare us away from drugs, or to intentionally portrayed UVM as a frightening and possibly predatory environment, which is not necessarily the best way the best way to enter college.
Right. No, that's true, and maybe they need to talk to somebody with some expertise in the area of persuasion to know that fear appeals are not very effective. They are effective in very specific areas in specific ways, and especially not with the university's like, it's safe, it's homey, it's cool, it's groovy, and then you get here and they go, oh, it's dangerous. You're like, what?
Yeah, and
double story.
And of course, speaking again to my own experience, I can say that it's been very ineffective just in looking at what's been happening in my own dorm. Like the fear approach has not worked.
Well, because students have been hearing that approach their whole lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, and people who got here smoking pot are not going to stop because someone threatens them again. Do you think there's a better strategy?
I think a better strategy would be to explain the nature of the university honestly, but at the same time give students other options. I know a lot of people who come here expecting a party school, and even those who don't fall into that simply because the idea is that there's nothing else to do, and that's what everybody talks about doing. So I think there are multiple different approaches that the university could take with regards to offering positive reinforcement for good behavior rather than negative reinforcement for bad
Well,
behavior.
wouldn't you say that the new student center would be, in a sense, that kind of a
could
positive
be.
reinforcement?
Could be.
Could be. Okay, well, there's lots of things to talk about because UVM's a big place now, and we have big ideas. But I just want to finish by asking you to say, do you think the climate at UVM in 4 years from now will be better, the same, or worse? And let's start with you, Joseph Torta.
I think it will be better. It will be more academically focused. It will be more just more productive as a university. Overall, higher academic standards.
All right. Welcome to the show, Sam Natali.
I predicted that it's going to go up in terms of its level of students, its level of education, level of discourse on campus. I just hope that it doesn't grow to the size that we feel like we're getting our education from Walmart.
Yeah. Okay, running out of time, Sam Ricker.
Well, I was just trying to play devil's advocate, but it'll get worse if uptight people like you make the decisions. But because, you know what, this is Vermont. This isn't Dartmouth. This isn't Harvard. This isn't Yale. Really.
But some people want to make it that way. Karina Berg.
It could be. I think in 4 years, I think it's gonna be a rough transition getting there. Like Fogel's vision is, it's really different from what the university's been in the past, and I think that in 4 years it'll probably be academically better, and there'll be like less reports of partying and such. But it's still gonna go on. It's just gonna be harder to pull away from that image.
All right. Thanks a lot for being on the show this week. Thanks a lot to you for watching us, and don't forget our motto:
Think for yourself.